Hello, hello and welcome. Hello, hello and welcome. We're going to give it a minute to let people join. Welcome everyone, welcome, thank you for coming. We're going to give folks a few minutes to join. Welcome everyone, thank you for joining. Hello Stacy, Stony Creek, Ryan, Level Up Thrift, Banana Lana Shops, welcome Lynn, welcome Joey, Chase's Sports Cards, welcome. Project Ellsworth says, I've been buying a lot of pots and pans lately. That's good. So have we. People will always cook. Karen, welcome. Pam, welcome. Krista, welcome. Karen, Tanner, welcome everyone. We'll just, I'll give everyone just a minute to join. I know, it's hard to make something on time. So let's give people just a couple of minutes before we get started. Josh, how are you? You're Josh. You're not chopped liver, although chopped liver is delicious. Awesome. Welcome everyone. Okay, we're going to get started. This video will be available after the stream so that you can enjoy it or watch it. So let's get started with the introduction. So my name is Edin. I am one half of Hustle and Hooks. My wife Melinda and I are a husband and wife reseller team based out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. We've been selling for just over 18 months. We sell over $10,000 a month, and so far we've sold over $140,000 primarily on eBay and other platforms like Poshmark, Facebook Marketplace, and a little bit on Etsy. We're not CPAs. We have to tell everyone that. We're not taxation experts. We have a CPA that we work with, so we prepare all of our taxable income to them. They are the professionals. We sell stuff on the internet for profit. That's what we do. They work on taxes. That's what they do. We've been tracking our data since our first sale. We are very heavy believers in data, as we believe that's better to make decisions based off of data than feelings and emotions. I've developed a spreadsheet after about 5,000 data points, 4 versions, and roughly 15 years of professional experience with Excel. My objective was to make a spreadsheet that was relatively straightforward for people to use, even if you're a novice at Excel. What is this tool? The tracking tool is an all-in-one tool to track all of your inventory and sales across one or multiple platforms. So if you sell across different platforms like Depop and eBay and Poshmark and StockX, you can use this platform. Or if you are just a seller on Instagram, or if you just sell on eBay, you can also use this spreadsheet or whatever platform I may have not mentioned. When used, it prepares 95% of all of your taxation documents. Now, remember, when it comes to taxes, you are going to be taxed on your net profits. You're not going to be taxed on your total sales amount, so just keep that in mind. It automatically calculates your net profits after adjustments and returns, if applicable. It automatically summarizes everything monthly, quarterly, and annually. There is a live aging inventory report. If you use the tool properly, it'll automatically calculate how old your listings are based off of the date that you listed them. And it gives you the ability to evaluate your business with data. Why use it? Every successful business must understand their bottom line, period. That's the most straightforward answer I can give you. Now, you don't have to use this specific spreadsheet. You can create your own, or you can buy somebody else's. That's totally up to you. But you need to understand your bottom line, period. Every business must know how much money they are making. Otherwise, what are they doing? If you're running a charity, it's a little bit different because you don't have to track how much money you're making because you're doing charitable work. When you're running a business, you need to understand how much money you're making. If your brother, mother, father, uncle, or friend asks you right now, how much do you make reselling? Can you answer them? And I bet for a large amount of people that are in this live right now or are watching this after it aired, the answer is no, you cannot. And this is a tool that'll help you do that, because at the end of the day, you need to know how much you're making. If I'm the sole provider or the sole bread maker for my household, I need to know how much money I'm bringing in to budget my family, right? It's pretty straightforward. Taxation readiness daily. Don't wait until tax day and stress about taxes. How many of you guys in the live chat right now, and how many of you watching this after it aired, have no idea how much money you owe for 2020 taxes? Virtually raise your hand. A lot of you, right? Because you're not tracking your information. This tool will help you moving forward to make sure that you're ready for taxes right now. Not April 15th when they're due, but right now. What do you need to use it? Well, you need Microsoft Excel. Now, you can buy Microsoft Excel. I think it runs about $100, $120 a year. And once you buy it, you can use that as a cost of business, and you can write that off on your taxes. It's a cost of business. It goes against your bottom line. So if you don't have Microsoft Excel, you need to find a way to get it. If you're a student, you can definitely get it for free, typically from your university or college. If you're not, you can buy it off of Microsoft's website. You need basic understanding of Excel. Now, I believe I'm good at Excel. I don't think I'm great at it. So I would give myself a 6 out of 10. So after 15 years of professional experience with Excel, I give myself a 6 out of 10. If you are a 1 out of 10 or a 3 out of 10, please educate yourself using thousands and thousands of free how-to videos that are readily available on YouTube. You can type in searches such as, how do I do formulas in Excel? How do I color code in Excel? How do basic functions work in Excel? And if you do this, just like if you were to work out 15 to 20 minutes a day, you're going to get healthier every single day. The same thing with Excel. If you practice 15 to 20 minutes a day, you're going to get better at Excel every single day until you get to the point where you're comfortable. The spreadsheet is available for purchase for $50. That $50 can be written off again as a cost of doing business. And that $50 is a tax credit for your 2022 taxes, which basically it's a wash of $50. It's the same thing when we bought professional software to do videos. That's a cost of doing business. So that $110 a year, it's an expense. We get a small tax bracket or a small tax reduction because we spent money on our business. What is data? This is the question that I want to present on this slide here. For this purpose, let's keep it very simple. I've worked with a lot of engineers from a lot of giant corporations, and one thing that we always joke about is analysis paralysis, meaning you get so much data and you go so deep into analyzing it that you get paralyzed by just the vast amount of information that's out there. Let's keep it simple. Data is the collection of numbers that will help you learn about your business. And it's a tool for you to use and make better decisions. A tool that will help you move away from feelings and into critical thinking. So for example, if you're using this spreadsheet correctly, you can analyze all of your shoes that you've sold, or all of your women's tops, or all of your electronics, or your antiques. And you can boil down to see how much money you're making or losing in those categories. You can also look at different platforms and see where you're making the most or least amount of money. And you can evaluate your business and say, is it really worth it for me to cross list on these 7 platforms when I don't really make a lot of sales on platform number 6 and 7? So those are some of the tools that you can use with data. What's going to be covered today? So after I'm done with this presentation, I'm going to demonstrate live the document, the tool. I'm going to show you how to document your expenses, how to log your inventory, how to log your sales, how to analyze your data, and how to modify and customize your drop-down options so that you can have this spreadsheet be yours. Please wait until I complete the presentation before you ask any questions, as I'm not watching the chat at all. And most likely, I'm going to answer your questions before you can even ask them. So just hold off until the end. Once I'm done with the presentation, you'll just see my head and I'll talk and I'll answer any questions. If you do have any questions, please write them in all caps. That way I can see them. If I miss it, please ask again, and I will stay on the live for a little bit after the presentation so I can answer as many questions as possible. I wanted to first say thank you for everyone that's invested in themselves. Thank you for trusting in us, and thank you for your business and your continuous support. We truly appreciate your business. We truly appreciate our relationships that we have with people really all over the world. We've made sales as far as Australia, which is pretty awesome. So let's start by going through the spreadsheet, and I'll show you the power of the tool. Give this a second to load. Give me 1 second. Oop. Okay, so once you purchase the tool, the first tab that you're going to see is the Definitions and Instructions tab. A couple of things that I want to point out here. Make sure that you familiarize yourself with all the definitions, and also pay close attention to the instructions, especially anything that's written in red. Several times through this instructions and definitions page, you're going to see something like, nothing should be entered in this cell as it is a formula. So keep that in mind. Excel is just a giant, complicated calculator, and you can make it extremely complicated or you can keep it simple. For us, what we need to do is make sure that we're not writing over, copying over, or deleting cells that have formulas in them, because that's going to break chains and that's going to make your Excel worksheet not work properly. Under the instructions here, it gives you line-by-line instructions of how to log your inventory. It gives you also all of your instructions to make sure that you're able to get all of your sales entered correctly into each month. So each month is a tab, and under that tab, you're going to record all of your sales. Before we get into master inventory and sales, let's take a look at the expense tab. The expense tab was designed so that you can keep track of all of your expenses that are not the cost of goods that you're selling. This is going to include mileage, storage unit rentals, bubble wrap, packing materials, things like that. One thing before I get started with this, you have to understand is that this Excel spreadsheet has been built with tables. Notice where my cursor is that there is a black header under expense tracking, and notice that this is formatted in a table. If I zoom closer, you're going to see that there's a small, I guess I'll call it a half square right here where my pointer is. This is the end of the table. So you'll have to make sure that all of your expenses tracked are within that table so that they're automatically calculated. And this is important because as I quickly skip ahead to the reports page and I scroll down, under your annual expense report, your expenses are automatically calculated. So if I have a new expense, let's say that today I bought some bubble wrap, and I got a special on it, and this is a business expense. I bought it today, which is the 3rd. It cost me $150. Once I log this inside of the table, that $150 is going to be accounted for in your report. So now instead of $384, I have $484 that I've spent so far in 2021 on my expenses. This is important, of course, because you're going to be taxed on your net profits minus expenses. And of course, you need to track your expenses for the items that I previously mentioned, such as packing material. If you were to log an entry outside of the table, let's say I purchased 100 boxes. Notice I don't have a drop down. That's fine. I'm just going to write business. I'm going to log today's date, and I spend $100 on it. So now if I go over to my report, this number does not change. It's still $484.05. That's because my data that I've entered is outside of the parameters of the table. Now, if I click and drag down on the bottom here to include that $100, notice then again on my reports, now I'm accounting for that $100, so my expenses are $584. So keep that in mind. This is extremely important because this is how the entire spreadsheet works. If you want to remove it from the table, you would simply drag up, and you can, of course, delete this. So just make sure that you're keeping things in sequential order so that everything is accounted for properly. I'm going to delete this example as this is the spreadsheet I'm showing you is the one that we currently use every single day. If you scooch over to the mileage calculator, in 2021, the IRS has stated that they're going to pay 56 cents per mile driven for business. So every time that you travel for business, you have to document your mileage. You can do this a much easier way by getting a free application on your cell phone that tracks your mileage, or you can log your miles here manually. So let's say today I went thrifting and I drove 15 miles. It's going to give me an $8.40 credit because I use my personal vehicle, and the IRS said for business travel, I'll get a tax credit of 56 cents per mile traveled. And of course, here I can write a short description. And that's it. So now that $8.40 that I get a credit on will be on the reports, and that'll be captured under the mileage calculator. Continuing with expenses, there's also a tab for bills and other expenses. So here you can document really whatever you would want. The example I have here is for a memory card for a camera. That's an expense for us in our business, as we also have YouTube channel. And we, of course, every time we spend money on our channel, we document it as it's, again, a credit at the end of the year. So let's say you have a storage unit fee. So every single month on the 1st of the month, you have to pay your storage unit fee. And that fee is $100 per month. And then you can write any notes optional to you, right? So monthly expense. Of course, monthly is not spelled right. And now if I go back again to my report at the end of the year, I know exactly that I spent money. Notice that bills and other has increased by $100, which is the log that I just made. So that's the first part. This is where you can track all of your expenses, miles, expenses for your business. Anything that has to do with your business should be tracked. And that way you know exactly how much money you're spending. This is extremely important for the 5th or 17th time, because every single time you pay taxes, you're paying it on your net profits minus your cost of doing business. The next tab over is called the Master Inventory Report. So this is our version, and this is our real document. This is not made up with a bunch of random data. This is very straightforward. If you scroll all the way up, you can see a couple of things. One, the color changes, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But this is the master inventory list. It's very straightforward. It's the item description, same title as listing, the category, the cost of goods that you paid, the date listed, your storage location, days active, and then there's actionable plans you can take, and we'll talk about that towards the end. So let's say I just listed something for sale on eBay. What I would do is I would copy over the exact title from my eBay. That way I can easily find it in my master inventory sheet. So for example, let's just make something up. I've listed this Canon Pure Shot camera. I'm just tabbing over. It's an electronic. That's the category that it's under. And I paid $5.99 with sales tax. I paid about $6.30 for it. And I listed it today, which is the 3rd of March. Notice that the green cell changes to a 0 because it's an automatic calculation of how many days your item has been active. Notice that all of the items that were listed on the 28th are now 3 days old. Until they sell, they're going to sit in your master inventory sheet so that you can account for all of your inventory. As you scroll up, this automatic calculation is also color-coded. So as your inventory starts to age, past 60 days, 90 days, notice that it's changing into a yellow and then orange and then ultimately a red color. And this is just a visual so that you can understand how many items you have sitting in your store that have not moved at all and are just occupying space, or they're just not selling. So for us, we have several items in our store that have been listed for over 500 days. In 1 year, typically, it's 365 days, right? With the exception of every 4 years, it's 366. So we have items that have been in our store for over a year. We need to do something about that. All of your items that are yellow are just an indicator that they're slowly aging. So for anyone that's been doing reselling for a while, you probably have some old inventory, and that old inventory typically gets lost because you don't have a way to visualize how much stuff you actually have that's sitting until you have this tool that tells you the date active based off of the date that you listed the item. If you have an item that has not been selling, let's just select this Vans #1 skateboarding shoes, men's size 11, black canvas fabric, low top. We listed it on October 4th. It's still for sale. We don't have our storage units filled out because we put that into our eBay custom SKUs. So this is an option. You definitely can use this if it's going to help you. It's 150 days old. I'm going to use a different example. I apologize. I'm going to go down here for this item that's 60 years old, this Odell Beckham jersey. It's 60 years old, and now there's a tab here for 60-day action. If I click down here, I can document any changes that I've made to my listing to help it move. So either I reduced price, relisted the item, revised the listing, changed the photos, removed the listing, or I didn't do anything. And you can do that whenever you want. This program is 60, 120, and 180 days. So let's say after 60 days, you reduce the price. After 120 days, you change the photos. And then at the end, you just look. After 180 days, you remove the listing. It wasn't selling. You redonated it. It's up to you to use this part of the tool if you want to. It's definitely something that's beneficial, especially if you have older inventory that's just sitting there and aging, collecting dust. So you definitely want to do something with it. The other part that I want to highlight here is that what we do is we copy paste our listing exactly from eBay into our master inventory sheet. And we do that because after it sells, or if we need to do some updates on it, it's really easy to find. And you will do that by holding down Control and hitting F. And this is a find and replace function in Excel. So let's say I want to know how many pairs of shoes I have in my store that are size 7. So I would just type in size 7, and any of my listings with the term size 7, after I hit enter, are going to be highlighted. So there's one, there's a clogs, size 7.5, so there's one. There's another one, there's a size 7 Merrell hiking shoe. There's another one, it's a Croc size 7, so on and so forth. So you can take a look and find your item really easy. Or let's say an item sold. Let's say a Vikings banner sold. You would just have to type in Vikings, hit enter, and bam, there it is. Vikings 5x3 flag large made USA. If I hit enter again, nothing happens because that's the only listing I have available in my inventory sheet. So this is an easy way to find all of your active listings after they sell. That's it for the master inventory sheet. Let's go to the actual sales tabs. So when you buy this spreadsheet, you're going to get blanks because there's no data inside of the spreadsheet. Every single month is going to have a false sale, meaning basically a placeholder for all of the formulas. So once you start using this, please do not delete the first line because it's going to break all of the formulas. Make sure that you just simply write over that first line into the actual sale that you made, and then when you start documenting your sales. So it's March now. Here's one item that sold for us today. I'm going to make up an example of another one. So let's say that I'm just going to pick something random. Let's call it this camera that we just sold today, or that we just listed today. So this Canon PureShot, let's say it's sold. Notice that the sales tab is the same format as your master inventory. There's the item description, category, cost of goods, date listed. If I go to master inventory, again, if I click down here and I look up, it's item description, category, cost of goods, date listed. Everything that's in blue is what I need to copy paste over to my sales so that I can account for it. So I'm simply going to click and drag over. I'm going to hold down Control and hit C, or I can right click, copy. You can do either or. I'm going to go to my tab where it's sold. It has to be, again, in order, and I'm going to simply paste. It's going to paste over that it's an electronic, how much I paid for it, the date listed, it's sold today. What platform did it sell on? This is just a silly example, so I'm going to change that. So it's sold on eBay. The fees associated with eBay are 12.5% on average, and I can simply increase the decimal point to see my 12.5. Let's say the gross sale was $104.95. I'm going to tab over. Shipping costs me $8.90, and I'm going to tab over. That's it. I just logged my sale. That's how easy it is to log your sale after you've documented it in your master inventory sheet. After that, my net profit is automatically calculated at $67.63. I'm sorry, $76.63. And that's a basic function. The net profit is equal to the cost, it's equal to the gross sale minus the cost of goods, minus the shipping cost, minus the fees paid. Let's say 2 weeks from now, I get a customer that's not happy with it, and they say, hey, look, I want to keep it. Let's agree on a partial refund because the camera is nice. It's just that the lens is cracked. And let's say we agree on a $25 partial refund. Under my adjustments, I would simply just write $25. And then my net adjustment changes to $51.63 because I gave the customer $25 back. You can also type in your return charges if you were to fully refund them. Let's say that the camera is totally broken, it doesn't work. You give them a full refund of $104.95. You would just simply document it under adjustments. You would lose $28.32 because, well, you pay the fees, you pay the shipping, and you pay the cost of goods. That doesn't just go away. So again, it's a very easy way to document any adjustments or any returns. Once you log your sale, on the right side, you're going to have a simple tabulations. And right here, it tells me that in March so far, I've sold 2 items. The cost of goods sold is $6.72. That's how much I spent. $129.90 in gross sales. Shipping cost was $11.79. Approximate fees, net profit, net adjusted profit, and then it gives me some basic statistics. The average gross sales for the month were $64.95, average net sale of $48.26, average sales per day 6, right? So this format you can just simply change by right-clicking, format cell, number, and we're gonna hit OK. It leaves the dollar sign. And this is just a simple division. There's 31 days in March. It's the number of sales divided by 31 gives you the average. So if I go to February, if you guys watched our February how much we made selling online video, you'll see these numbers there and here. So this is every single sale that we made in February of 2021. So again, we keep track of everything by platform. And then at the end, it gives you a simple summary of how we did in February. Very easy, and it's updated each time that we update the spreadsheet. And then on the reports tab on the bottom, it gives you an overall report month by month, so you can see if you're increasing, decreasing, staying the same, growing, or being stagnant in your business. It also gives you a quarterly update on the bottom, so you can see that, again, these are minus the false example I just put in. These are real numbers. So within the first 2 months, we've sold 508 items for over $25,000 in gross, and our net adjusted profit is $13,788, which is what we owe taxes on, minus deductions such as car miles, expenses, etc. So again, we are tax ready right now. We don't wait until the taxes are due. If you keep up with your spreadsheet, you're always going to be tax ready. No one can take that away from you as long as you keep up with your numbers. And then, of course, your annual, it gives you your annual summary. Notice it's going to give you a false sale per month because of the placeholder. So you just have to remember that the 517 is actually 508, which is pretty irrelevant, right? And it gives me all of my totals. Once I log a sale, I almost forgot, I apologize. I logged this sale in March. Remember, I paid $6.30. I'm going to go back to my master inventory. Because I've already accounted for this, I'm going to simply right-click on the row, and I'm going to delete it. Because I sold it, it's going to be tracked under the monthly sales. And then my actual report for the total amount that's unsold inventory is up to date. Unsold inventory for 2021 is the total amount of dollars that we have tied up in our current inventory right now. This is extremely important for a couple of reasons. One, once the year ends, your tax accountant, your CPA needs to know the value of your unsold business because that's a credit against your taxes. Two, you have to understand how much money you have tied up in your business. If let's say you're only selling $5,000 a month, but you have $50,000 tied up in your inventory, you have a pretty big problem. So you need to know your numbers, and every single time that you log newly listed inventory, and every single time that you log your sales, this number automatically changes. So you always have a pulse on your business. You know how much money. If let's say you went upside down today, you know that we have at least $6,300 worth of inventory that we can wholesale to another business, right? Let's say you wanted to buy out Hustle and Hooks, and you say, how much is all your inventory worth? I'll tell you, it's $6,338.65. Send me a check, bring a U-Haul, it's all yours. The last thing that I wanted to show you here is how to customize your titles if you wanted to. On the titles tab, these are all of the exact formats that need to stay the same so that your drop-down options work. So if I go to December and if I go to my platforms, you can see that these are the platforms that we sell on that you can select from. And same thing with categories. You can go to your categories, and this is your list of categories that you can choose from, depending on what it is. This is a pretty extensive list based off of the vast majority of the eBay categories, at least the broad categories. You can customize that to your liking. So let's say that you sell on eBay, but you don't sell on any other platform. Well, you would just leave all this alone, or you can just simply delete all of this, as long as it stays in the same format. And now if I go to my dropdown and I go to platform, notice that eBay is my only option and my approximate fees is my only option, right? If I wanted to add other ones, I'm going to bring all these back. If I wanted to add other ones, I simply can. So let's say you sell on eBay and Amazon, but you don't sell on Poshmark, you would just write Amazon over it. Or if you sell on eBay and Instagram only, you can just write IG or Instagram. And then, of course, the fees associated with Instagram are zero, unless you're paying some sort of transactional fees through PayPal or MySquare or Venmo or something like that. So as long as this stays in the same format, you can change these to whatever you want. And if you believe that you're paying 15% fees on eBay instead of 12.5, then you change that to 15. It's up to you. Same with the action items, same with the expense. You can change this to whatever you want. Same with the category lists. Let's say you don't sell in any of these categories. You can just change the top 4 or 5 to what you do sell. Let's say you sell jewelry, belts, shoes, and sports bras. You can just have those categories there and delete the rest. That's totally up to you. Now let's take a look and see how you can utilize all of this information to make better decisions about your business. So let's say in February, I want to know how many pairs of shoes I've sold. I would simply go down to my sales tab. I would go to category, click, and I'm going to deselect everything, all the options, and I'm just going to select shoes. Notice that everything that's not a shoe category has been hidden and only shoes remain. Now you can analyze and say, well, I want to see how many shoes I sold only on Poshmark. I would select Poshmark, hit OK. Notice that it reduces it down to shoes on Poshmark. And now you can analyze and say, well, let's see how much money I actually made in February selling shoes on Poshmark. I can click and drag down, highlight these cells. And on the bottom where my cursor is, it tells me that I made a profit of $357.90 selling shoes on Poshmark. Then you can make some decisions of, do I really want to keep selling shoes? Is it worth it? The other quick thing you can learn here is the average. So on average, we're making $23.86 on Poshmark per pair sold. So let's compare that to eBay. If I take a look on my platforms, I'm going to deselect Poshmark, reselect eBay, and now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click and drag down, and it tells me that on average, I'm only making $19.14 per pair sold on eBay. So this tells me that I make more money on average selling on Poshmark when it comes to shoes. Now let's start over. I'm going to select all of my categories again, all of my platforms. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to select all of my items, and I'm going to hit OK. Now it brings back all of my data. Let's say for some reason you want to know how much you sold on the 20th of February. You would simply deselect everything and just select the 20th of February, and you can see how much you sold that day. So I can tell you, it looks like February the 20th was a slow day. We only had a gross sales amount of $259. Let's say you wanted to take a look and see overall what were some of the most profitable sales that you made. Let's go to net profit. If you click down and sort largest to smallest, you can see that we've made the most amount of money, or at least as far as net profit, on these categories. It was electronics, some t-shirts we raffled off, some electronics, some houseware, small appliances. Let's now take a look at that and flip it and say, I want to see smallest to largest. Geez, look at all of these low-hanging fruits here. These are the items that I made least amount of money on. Do I really want to continue to sell items like this when I'm not making a lot of money on it? I mean, you can probably make more money delivering pizza than you can make per transaction selling items at $5 profit per transaction, right? So this is, again, a way you can analyze your business and start making smarter decisions of what you're selling. You can sort this any way you want. And as long as you're sorting, it doesn't delete any of your information. It just basically gives you another visual of what you're doing. Let's see, of cost of goods, what we spent the most money on. Well, those t-shirts were pretty expensive. A Teac reel-to-reel we spent $100 on. A Nintendo console we spent $100 on. Well, let's take a look and see if we made a decent return on those 3 items that we spent over $100 on. Looks like we did. We made a net profit of $171, $186, and $103. I'm okay with that. I'll spend $100 to make a net profit of $103. That's perfectly fine because, again, my net profit is my gross sale minus my cost of goods, minus my fees, minus my shipping. That gives me my net. You can also take a look at all of your adjustments and filter them. I want to see all of my adjustments. It looks like we only had 2 adjustments for the entire month. And those 2 transactions, we lost money. We lost $31.50 and $8.93. That's just cost of doing business. You need to document that because that's not money we're going to be paying taxes on. You cannot pay money on negative values, right? If we lost $40, that's $40 that we don't pay taxes on because we didn't make that money. Hopefully that makes sense. You can do this by, you can also go back to January, you can compare, you can analyze everything that you want to do every single month at any time. The month doesn't have to be completed for you to be able to go and sort your data and take a look. Okay, so that was 42 minutes of babbling. Now I'm going to turn it into any questions that you guys may have. I want to remind people that if you do decide to buy the spreadsheet, there is a technical support Facebook group that you can join as part of your $50. And there you can ask technical questions and reach out for help. And you can also learn from other people. The nice thing is that once somebody asks a question, that question is going to be kept in that database in our Facebook group so that if you are new to it, you can simply search it and take a look at past results and see if that question has already been asked and see what the answer or the solution was. Or, of course, you can ask a brand new question. And I'm the one that, I'm the main admin. Melinda is there as well, but I answer all the questions because, well, I work with the data every single day. Lisa writes, where do you record your shipping costs? Lisa, you would record it under shipping. Once you log your sale, you would type in how much you paid for shipping. This is a common question. People ask, well, what if they pay for shipping versus I pay for shipping? If they pay for shipping on eBay, typically you're going to have a reduced rate because you have a commercial discount. Let's say that they bought an item for $100 plus they paid $40 in shipping. Your gross sale is $140. Then you would document what you paid in shipping. So let's say it only cost you $28 to ship it. You would type in 140 gross, $28 to ship. And then, of course, the difference you get to keep, those $12 that they paid extra. That's your money. They paid for it. Please let me know what other questions you guys have. And please put in all of your questions in all caps. That way they catch my attention. Note that there's a slight delay between the way I'm streaming this versus the actual chat. So give it a second if I don't answer. Jiminy Flippit says, is there any way to import these your listings from eBay into spreadsheet? Not that I know of. That's a very easy way to do it. You would have to do it manually over time. What if I already deleted the examples? Then post in the Facebook group that you deleted your examples and I will send you a new one. If you haven't done a lot of work in it, then just open up a brand new sheet because as soon as you purchase it, you're going to have a copy, a fresh copy in your email that you can always start from scratch. So you would just then copy paste what you already did and leave the examples alone. Can we add a column for ROI? I like comparing percent return rather than just dollar value. You can do that yourself by adding a column. It should not affect it. What you can do is save a copy of the spreadsheet, experiment with adding that column, experiment with adding that simple calculation, and then if it works, great. If it doesn't work, then go back to the original one. Tina says the dropdown for each item disappeared on my spreadsheet. The title sheet is still the same. Any way to fix this? Yes, you will have to basically drag and drop or copy paste a cell that has that data validation or that drop down in it, and then you can access it again. What most likely happened to you, and it's happened to others, is that you accidentally deleted or wrote over or pasted over where you shouldn't have, and it deleted the option because you told Excel you want something else there. Can we add as many categories as we want, or is that capped? So that's a good question. You would have to learn how to create a drop down if you want infinite, like a maximum amount of categories. You just have to do it yourself. Right now, I don't remember the exact amount, but there's plenty of them there you can alter. Can you address backup on Mac? So what I recommend to anyone that's using this spreadsheet is that what you want to do is, after you're done for the day, save a copy with the date that you finished. That way, that is your backup file. And you just keep doing that every week or every day. And then make sure you always have that backup. So in case something goes wrong, something doesn't work, you always have that version that works for you. So just save a copy or save as, and then put in the date into the title, and then just create a folder that has all of your backup files in it. Fisher says, what's the exact percentage I should be using for eBay? You had 10% as an example. We used 12.5%, and we came up with 12.5 because we looked at several hundred data points of the exact amount that they took in fees. We analyzed it, reverse engineered it, and on average, we're paying 12.5%, so that's what we're using. Today, eBay changed the fee structure. When your percentages change, how do you handle that in a spreadsheet? So what we do is we say it's 12.5% on average per transaction. Now, remember, eBay is tricky. It depends on the category and your seller level, and that's the percentage you get per the transaction. So it's never the same. It's not like Poshmark where it's always 20% or Etsy where it's always 5%. So we use 12.5% to capture it. On a macro scale, nobody cares about your pennies. So as long as you're within a few percentage points, you're fine. If you want the exact amount, you would have to go through every single transaction and figure out exactly how many dollars and cents they took out and document that rather than an automatic percentage. Is there a way to calculate sales tax in a spreadsheet? Well, why would you need to calculate sales tax in a spreadsheet? So sales tax is on eBay and Poshmark and these larger platforms. Sales tax is taken care of by the platform. It's collected by them, so you don't have to do it yourself. I purchased this tonight. Thank you so much. How do I join the Facebook page? On the instructions tab on the bottom, there is a link URL. You will just copy paste that into your web browser, and then it'll direct you to join. Click to ask to join the group, and then I'll approve it as soon as I see it. Krista says, is there a place to add promoted item fees? So we promote everything at 1%. So that's included in our 12.5%. So again, we use that as a rough average. Again, if you want the exact dollar and cents, you would have to go to eBay, download your report, or look at each transaction, and then type in manually how much you actually gave to eBay for that sale. You didn't mention, Lynn says, you didn't mention Mercari as a platform. Can I add Mercari as a platform on the spreadsheet? Yes, you can. And Mercari is actually one of the drop-down selections right now as an example. So yes, it's already in there. And if you don't have it for some reason, you can definitely add it. Thank you guys for all these questions. Just remember, if you're asking a question, that means there's somebody out there that actually has the same question that didn't ask yet. So each time you ask a question, somebody else is going to learn as well. So I really appreciate all of the questions. That's Jessica behind me, by the way. If anybody's wondering what this pillow is, my cousin Jana made a gift for us over a kid on a pillow. It's not for sale. Much gratitude says, bought the spreadsheet last week. Fantastic, very helpful. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Lisa. We appreciate your support. Thank you, everyone. Who's purchased it. Please let us know if you're enjoying it, if you're liking it. Please go to that Facebook group and ask questions if you get stuck on something. I'm pretty quick. Usually within a day, I'm going to respond and hopefully give you a solution. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate it. Okay, Aaron says, this is Vintage Remix. Can't wait to purchase. Just to clarify, the inventory list should be used for listed inventory only, not all things I plan to sell. I have mountains, LOL. You can do it for both. So what we do is once we list an item, we document it in our inventory sheet. We also have a small mountain that's unlisted. You can do either. It's up to you. We do only the listed because when it sells, we're easily able to document our sale. So every time that we do our listings, we update our spreadsheet. You can definitely do both. You can also save 2 copies and have an unlisted and a listed. It's totally up to you. If I add a column for promo and rates, will I need to update the formulas and columns? Yes, you would. And that's the tricky part, Kim. And I thought about that a lot, and you would have to add an additional, you would have to, every single sales month, you would have to adjust it and reformulate everything. What do you do when you're thrift and the receipt isn't itemized, just a vague blue tag, $1.97? Do you take the average of what you spent and assign to? This is a very common question, Aaron. It's a really good one as well. If you go to places like garage sales, bins, you make a bulk deal, you're not going to have an exact dollar amount associated per transaction. So what you can do in that instance, you can average it. So let's say you bought a bunch of stuff for $100 and there's a $200 item in there. You can allocate $90 to that one item and then $1 each to the rest of them. Or you can average them out. It doesn't matter. The most important part is that you have to account for every single dollar you spent, because that, again, reduces your net, which reduces your taxable income. Tina says, the tax we pay on items we purchase, do you average that amount on all of your items for your cost of goods? Yes, you can average it, or you can just add it. So in Michigan, it's 6%. So each time I go to the thrift and I buy something for $9.89, I log it as $10.56 because I pay taxes on it. If I can't figure out how to use spreadsheet, can I get money back? No, somebody, because I can't restrict your access. Once you purchase it, you have it. I can't delete it from your computer or come and get it from you. So once you purchase it, there are no returns. That's why we emphasize both where on the link and here and in previous videos, you have to have a basic understanding. So definitely teach yourself Excel first, then purchase the spreadsheet. What do you suggest I do with the stock that I don't have info on? I got lost in the sauce of 2020. What do I do if it sells in 2021? You would, Aaron, the best thing that I would recommend is that you just have a very educated guess of what you spend it on item based out of the category. At the end of the day, no one knows what you bought it for, so it's up to you to document that. So if you, on average, are spending $3 an item, call it $3 an item. As long as you're accounting for something, it's better than not accounting for anything. Flips and somersaults, you're most welcome. Thank you for the kind words. Also, thank you everyone that's joined. Looks like there's over 100 people here. I really do appreciate it. I hope that this is bringing value to your evening. I mean, at the end of the day, I really hope that you guys do something with your data. Again, you don't have to do it with our spreadsheet, but do something so you make your life easier and not stress out when it comes to taxation every year. Matthias Anderson writes, curious how you track your bulk lots in here to determine total return on that lot. You can color code. That's one way you can do it. So every single time, let's say you bought 100 items from a garage sale, you can just color all of those cells in purple, and then you know exactly that all the purple stuff came from that same buy, and then you can evaluate if you made a good decision or not. Okay. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate it. Thank you, Tanika. No problem. You're most welcome. Samayo sells policy. Appreciate it. Max, he asks, Excel only or does it work in Google Sheets? People have been able to make it work on Google Sheets, but they have a skill set to make sure the formulas are working. I will be working on a version specifically for Google Sheets. I have zero experience with Google Sheets, so it's going to take me a little bit of time to figure that out. But in the future, yes, it will be available for Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel. Right now, it's just for Microsoft Excel. Stacy, you're welcome. Thank you for joining. MB, you're most welcome. Thank you for the kind words. Let me know what other questions you guys have. I'm going to be here as long as the questions keep flowing for at least another 15, 20 minutes. If you guys have continuous questions, I'm going to be here to answer them. So just make sure you guys are taking advantage of me being here right now in front of you to ask. Somebody writes, do you plan on making improvements and offer free updates? We're working on that. We're definitely going to be releasing a 2022 version. What that looks like as far as cost, I don't know yet. There definitely will be some sort of discount for people who've purchased this version. I just have to figure out how to make all that work. There's definitely going to be improvements. We're also thinking about making a pro and a basic. A pro with a little bit more in-depth analysis of data, and a basic kind of keeping it the same as it is now. We'll see. I'll definitely keep everyone updated. This version is for 2021 only. Stella writes, does it work for Mac people that have the Numbers app instead of Excel? If you're using Mac, the operating system, that's perfectly fine. Again, you have to have Microsoft Excel on Mac to use it. So the operating system doesn't matter if it's PC, Microsoft, Mac, or Linux. It doesn't matter. As long as you have Microsoft Excel, you can use it. Aaron writes, how does one figure in sales tax? Aaron, I assume you're asking sales tax that you're paying. So basically, if you bought an item, you would just multiply the dollar amount spent by sales tax. So again, in Michigan, the sales tax is 6%. So if I spend $9.99, it's $10.56 with sales tax. If you're talking about sales tax collected by the buyer, eBay and other platforms already do that for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Tanner, I'm not sure if you're asking a question or if that's just a statement. He writes, if you purchase the Excel version and end up creating Google Sheets version, will you have access to both? Yes. Yeah, if you can make it work on both, then yes, you would have access to both. Matthias writes, this has been a huge help to eliminate categories that are a waste of my time. That's awesome. Really happy to hear that. OELEO asks, where do you account for monthly store fees? Thank you for the powerful spreadsheet. My pleasure. So you would account for that. So we pay it annually through eBay. It's $25 a month. So we just multiply 25 by 12, and then we put it in as an annual expense under our expense tracking. You can also do a monthly expense for the store fees that you pay. If I don't have Excel, do I need to purchase the program, or is there a free Excel available? Angelina, you have to purchase the software. You can purchase it on Microsoft.com, or you can go to Google and type in Microsoft Excel. You have to purchase it. If you are a student, or if someone in your household is a student, they typically have a free, they can get it for free. So that's one option you can look into. It was a question. Yes. So hopefully, Tanner, I answered your question then. And the answer is yes. If you can convert it to Google Sheets, you'll have access to both. I don't like these parts where I'm just quiet. More questions, please. Again, take advantage of me while I'm here. Stella writes, Open Office is a free Excel version that might be a workaround. It may be. I don't have any experience with it. But thank you for bringing that up, Stella. I don't know. If it works, let me know. This is a great question. Kim Randon Full asks, how much time per day would you say you guys spend on updating your spreadsheet? If you're consistent with it, it depends on how many sales and listings you have. If you're listing 5 things a day and selling 5 things a day, it should take you about 5 minutes a day. If you're listing 100 things a day and selling 200 things a day, it's going to take you a little bit more. So it just depends on the volume. For me, anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes a day, unless I fall behind, then of course it takes time to catch up. Aaron, right, what about Instagram? I guess I should collect sales tax while also accounting for difference per state. So Aaron, I don't have a solution for you. What you would have to do is research other softwares that have that in it. So maybe some sort of QuickBooks. Maybe they have a part of that where you can account to where your items are being sold to, and that way you can collect sales tax per state that you sell to. Unfortunately, right now, I don't have a way to answer that question. Tina writes, we need to keep additional documentations of cost of goods expenses throughout receipts, or is this spreadsheet visible enough for a CPA? For our CPA, it's enough. For someone else, it might not be. When you go to garage sales, estate sales, when you go to places where you buy items that don't have receipts, there's no way to document it. The only way you'll be able to prove that you spend money is if you're buying it directly wholesale, if you're buying it from stores, department stores, or if you're buying it from thrift stores. It's not a bad idea. The advice I'll give you is that typically, like what we do, we don't keep any receipts from thrift stores. We just document in our Excel spreadsheet. Again, consult your CPA and ask them what their preference is and what the best practice is. Hopefully everybody's doing well, by the way. So 105 people from probably all across the United States. Hopefully you guys are staying nice and warm on the west side and nice and warm on the east side. It's been a nice couple of sunny days here in Michigan, although it's been pretty chilly. Stand Strong writes, is there a search for inventory name to come up easier than scrolling for it? Then you cut in from inventory and paste it sold panel. Yes, correct. So Stand Strong, if you hit Control F, that's a control find function. Once you're clicked into your Excel, you hit Control F and then you type in an abbreviation or a key term of that listing, hit enter, and it's going to go directly to that cell. Somebody writes, where's the best place to learn Excel? Do I need beginner skills or advanced skill? You need basic understanding. Everything has been done for you. You just need to be able to copy paste, enter data, and understand the fundamentals so that you don't make critical mistakes that ruin formulas. The best place, YouTube. Start 15 to 20 minutes a day. Type in search terms like how do I formulate? How do I do a formula in Excel? How do tables work in Excel? Watch and learn. Purchase Excel, open a blank sheet, and then just do what the video is doing on your screen and just keep learning that way. That's a very good way to teach yourself the basics. Wouldn't you need to keep your expense receipts in case the IRS decides to audit you? That's a tax question. You have to consult that with your CPA. Are percentages of utilities and home office expenses listed under just expenses? Yes, you would list that under expenses. So if your CPA says that yes, you should be writing off your phone bill, your cell phone bill, your internet, square footage of your house, etc., you would document that under expenses. Is there a way to show expenses in the monthly tables? There's not. The only expenses that you're going to see in the monthly tables are going to be the cost of goods sold on your reports and on your monthly sales. All of your expenses are going to be summarized at the end in the reports table, and they're going to be listed in the order you put them in on the expense tab. Thank you, Mohammed. I appreciate it. Jessica appreciates it too. She's smiling back there. Okay, I'm gonna give everyone the 10-minute warning. So in 10 minutes from now at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time, I'm gonna log off. So please, within the next 10 minutes, if you guys have any more questions, this is a really good time to ask them. Afterwards, feel free, if you are on Instagram, you can always message us on Instagram. We are at hustlin_hooks. You can also send us a if you purchase the item, you can go to the Facebook group and ask questions there, of course. Colleen, thank you so much for the kind words. We really do appreciate it. This is my motto. If more people get out of debt and are happier because they're financially strong, that means that there are more happy people around. That means that everybody's a little bit happier. That means that the world is just a little bit better than it was the day before. So happy to help. Hey, John, how are you, sir? John, Cincinnati Picker, one of the reasons we started this adventure. I really appreciate you stopping by and saying hello. Yes, so Kim Randin, full, great. So great question. She writes, all of my unlisted stuff from last year can still be plugged into this year. Exactly. That's exactly what we did. We took all of our unsold listings from 2020 and copy pasted them into our 2021 spreadsheet so we don't lose track of all of our inventory. Aaron writes, for inventory listing, looks you add your listings price for item. What if price changes per platform? Posh, I would try to get higher due to fees. Instagram without fees. So Aaron, we don't actually record. We don't record our cost of goods based off of platform. If I bought a pair of Nikes to resell for $20, it doesn't matter what platform I sell them on. The cost of goods is still $20. So if I sell them on eBay, Poshmark, or Instagram, my net profit will be calculated, right? The net profit is equal to the gross sale minus the cost of goods, minus fees, minus shipping. So if you don't pay any fees, then of course your net is going to be a little bit better. My pleasure. Thank you, Art Pierce. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you, everyone, for your kind words. I know there's some of the comments, especially early on, I didn't get a chance to read. I definitely appreciate everybody saying nice things. King RL writes, seriously, people are already a thumbs down. It's okay. Thumbs down are just as much appreciated as thumbs up. It's all good. Oh, Tanner, I'm sorry I missed your question. If I change the dates to 2020 to use for my taxes, will it affect the formulas? No, it shouldn't. The date doesn't matter. If I change the year to 2020 to use a spreadsheet for my taxes, will it affect the formulas? No. You can use this version and capture your 2020 data and use it. That's perfectly fine. Our pleasure. We love sharing everything that we know. Leslie writes, I just got here. Will you be uploading this video? Yes, I will be. As soon as we're done with the live, it's going to take a little bit of time, and then this video will be available probably later today. Definitely by tomorrow, you'll be able to watch it from the beginning. My pleasure, Tanner. Thank you for asking all the questions and for joining. I appreciate it. Virtual high five to anyone that can guess what I'm going to do after this live. List. Oh, thanks, Tiger Man. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Sam. Yeah, I forgot to do the plug. If you guys are not subscribed to our channel already, please do consider subscribing for more data-based, informative, real videos coming up in the future. We tend to upload at least 2 videos a week. We'll be uploading more in the future. So thank you so much. If you already subscribed to our channel If you're not, it's free for you. It just helps us grow the channel and our audience. Clean pots and pans. Mohammed writes, how do you calculate the car mileage? So I keep track of all my car mileage, and I just type in every single time that I travel into the expense tab, and it gives me an automatic calculation. It's miles traveled times 56 cents per mile, gives me my tax credit for that trip. The Driftless Drifter writes, do I have to buy a new copy this yearly? You don't have to do anything. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to continue this. There's going to be an updated version next year. There's probably going to be some sort of discount for people who've already purchased it in 2020. There's probably going to be a professional and a basic version. We just have to figure that stuff out. So you don't have to do anything. You can buy it once and update it yourself every year. It doesn't matter. Oh, Stella, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Tigerman says, I just passed 9,000 in sales yesterday. Congratulations. That's awesome. Keep at it. Aaron, you're most welcome. Thank you so much for the kind words. It's so awkward. I'm just staring at the screen by myself, just waiting for you guys to say something. Otherwise, I'm just staring at silence. Tina writes, traveling every day to the post mileage also goes under mileage. Yes, correct. Any business travel, you can go on irs.gov and you can read about it. But any business travel that you do for your business is a tax deduction. This year, it's 56 cents per mile traveled. And you can keep track of that manually in the spreadsheet, or you can download a free application. There's several available where you basically just write, I'm traveling for business, and it automatically calculates it. QuickBooks has it as well, although QuickBooks is, I think, like over $400 a year, so it's a bit expensive. A Vintage Mentality writes, how do you account for things that are free? You just write in $0 for the cost of goods. That's awesome, Tiger Man. Good luck with that. Just keep at it. You definitely can do it. Black Cat writes, I'm new to this channel as your live video recommendation from YouTube. Can you tell me what your channel is about? Sorry, I'm asking this. Oh, you're fine. So Black Cat, we document our reselling journey. My wife and I are resellers. We primarily sell on eBay and other online platforms where we basically find and flip items online for profit. We document it and we educate other people about it. Aaron writes, giveaway promotions on Instagram that drive engagement. The item is given for free. Is the cost of that a write-off as well? Yes, exactly it is. That's a great question, Aaron. If you bought it for $10 and you gave it away, then you lost $10. That $10 goes against your net income, which again reduces your taxable income. My sister Amina writes, relatively nice presentation, bro. She makes fun of me because I use, just like Monda uses the word actually a lot, I use the word relatively a lot. You're relatively welcome, Amina. Catherine says she feels much more confident tracking everything. That's awesome. Wyatt writes, hi, we've been plugging in numbers into your spreadsheets for days. Can we add categories? Yes, you can. If you go to the beginning of this, I explain how you can do that. So just rewatch the video. You basically just have to keep it in the same format, and you can customize that dropdown however you want. Lori, how are you? We got your package. Lori, fun fact, this is the first time ever we received a package from Alabama. And I was just like, oh, sweet. I've never been to Alabama. Hey, Sandy. Hello. Yeah, it'll be posted again. You're more obviously it'll be available for you to watch it at a different time. Wyatt, you're most welcome. Again, this live will be on our YouTube page, so you can rewatch it from the beginning. All right, 2-minute warning. So a couple more questions, and I got to sign off and get back to doing some work. Oh, the silence is killing me. 60-second warning, and I'm signing off. So any last questions? This is a opportunity now to take advantage of it. Sandy, that's great. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you so much. Any vintage rock and roll tees? We have a couple. You can check our eBay store for them, and if you're interested in any of them, we can of course work out a much better deal if we're selling them directly. Flipping somersaults. Do you have any suggestions on where to start? I have so much listed and sold. Just start in March, right? You just summarize, estimate the previous 2 months, start today, start in March. Don't overwhelm yourself with it. And you don't have to copy paste all your active listings, just start today. And then when you get some time, get all your listings there. Or if you have young kids at home or teenagers, pay them and tell them, I need you to copy paste all these listings here. You get $10 an hour, and I'm sure they'll be happy to. Leslie writes, is there a way to make it work in Google Sheets? At this time, it's not available. I am working on a version for Google Sheets specifically. I'll announce when that comes out. Can we add rows and columns to our liking or just add drop-downs? Angelina, it depends on your skill set. You can do whatever you want if you know how to do it. That's up to you. Any surprises of categories that you would change focus on using, especially? Not really, Josh. I mean, we do really well in electronics, and we do really well with vintage housewares and pots and pans and shoes. So what we've really learned is to get away with some of those lower valued items. That's really the biggest takeaway so far that I have. But again, we've been studying our data since day one, so we've made a lot of adjustments through time. Okay, that's going to do it for me. Again, thank you everyone that joined this. I really hope it brought some value. Thank you for your support if you've purchased it. Thank you for your future support if you're considering purchasing it. If you can hit the like button if you found value in this, I would really appreciate it. It does help us. It's free for you to do that. If you're not subscribed to the channel, it would help us if you are. Again, it's free for you. It just helps our channel grow. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys very much for your time, and later.